We're told the graph of y is equal to log base 2 of x is shown below, and that's right over here. And they ask us to graph 2 times log base 2 of negative x minus 3. So pause this video and see if you can at least think about how you would do it, or ideally have some graph paper and work it out on your own. And if you're doing this on Khan Academy, they would probably ask which of the following is the graph of this. But I like to sketch it out, and then if you were doing it multiple choice, you would then see which of the choices matches your sketch. All right, now let's do it together. So just as a reminder, this purple curve right here, that's y is equal to log base 2 of x. And what I like to do is just keep building from this to think about what the different graphs will look like. So I'll keep transforming this. So let's say I want to now graph y is equal to, well, I could, let's see, let's first start off with the negative x. So y is equal to log base 2 of negative x. What would that look like? Well, whatever happens at a certain value of x, that's now going to happen at the opposite value of x. So, for example, when x is equal to 4, log base 2 of 4 is 2. But now that's going to happen when we input negative 4. Because if you take the negative of negative 4, that's log base 2 of 4, which is going to be equal to 2. And then when you input negative 8 in this, the negative of negative 8 is 8. Log base 2 of 8 is 3. And so the curve would now look something like this. We've essentially flipped it over. We have flipped it over the y-axis, and it'll go down like that. All right, now let's keep building on that. Now what happens if we were to build on that and say, let's graph y is equal to log base 2. Instead of just a negative x here, let's do a negative x minus 3. Well, what is this minus 3 going to do? Well, we have to be very, very careful here if we are thinking about our shifting. Because what we want to do is we want to rewrite this so that we have log base 2 of negative of, and then we could say x plus 3. This is a tricky one. Because if you replace your x's with an x plus 3, this is the same thing as log base 2 of the negative of x minus negative 3. So another way to think about it is, this is going to shift our graph 3 to the left. And we've talked about, if this looks completely foreign to you, I encourage you to review that on other videos. So we're now going to shift 3 to the left. So what was happening at negative 4 is now going to happen at negative 7. So it's going to be something like that. And then we were going down to negative infinity as we approached x equals 0. That's now going to happen at x equals negative 3. I'll draw a dotted line here just so that we can keep track of that. And so our curve is going to look something like this now. So it's going to look something like this. And we're getting close because now we just want to multiply that by 2. So now we want to graph y is equal to 2 times log base 2 of negative x minus 3. And so it's just going to be this curve right over here times 2. So whatever happens, whatever y value we're getting before, it's now going to be 2 times that. So where we cross the x-axis, we're still going to cross it at that same point because 0 times 2 is 0. When we were 2 before, we are now going to be 2 times that. We are now going to be at 4. And so our curve is going to look more like this. It is going to look more like that. And so if this was multiple choice, we would then find the choice that looks closest to this curve that I just showed. And what I would look for is some of these reference points. So what was the point 4, 2? Where does that show up now? You'd also think about, okay, where are we going down to infinity? And before it was happening at x equals 0. Now it is happening at x equals negative 3. So I'll leave you there. Try to practice these.